My name is Chiara Curio, and today I'm going to be talking about the effect of social pressure in human behavior. To begin with, we conducted a survey in a group of sophomore students in order to support the idea that there is actually a correlation between the sincerity or honesty of a person when there's social or peer pressure involved. The survey was conducted of 7 different questions that focused on pretty directly formulated questions that were intended to make the individual feel out of his comfort zone. Some examples of these questions are the following. When you attend to parties or social gatherings, do you ever drink any alcoholic beverages? 80% of the people responded yes, and 20% of the students responded no. If you saw someone being bullied at a school, would you help that person out? In this case, we see 50% saying yes and 50% saying no. And finally, have you ever done a really lousy job on any particular school assignments? We can see that 90% of the students said yes and 20% of the students said no. Out of this experiment, I was able to extract a knowledge issue, which will be my focus on this short presentation. In what ways can social pressure affect our honesty? First of all, we want to know exactly what social pressure means, so that we're able to know exactly what is creating dishonesty in human behavior. According to the psychologydictionary.com, social or peer pressure is pressure from one's peer to behave in a manner similar or acceptable to them. With this in mind, one is able to create the following implications that state that humans tend to act differently than they normally do when they are expected to react in a specific manner. Humans are not always 100% honest when there is a behavior expectation. Social pressure can affect a person's honesty when taking decisions because 1. Humans have the need to fit in, and 2. Humans tend to avoid the uncomfortable. Along with these statements, we can recognize some ways of knowing as emotion and language that are somehow related to the presented knowledge issue. Emotion is very present in a way that the fact that we alter what we really think because of the pressure that is being put into us happens because we feel. Our emotions led us to a change in behavior to feel better with ourselves, with fitting in and avoiding the uncomfortable. And so is language, because it has a great power when it comes to manipulating human behavior. The way in which words are communicated, words, imagery, structure of the sentence can lead to a change in human behavior because they can influence our beliefs. Taking this specific way of knowing into consideration, I could extract another knowledge issue related to the one I am exploring. To what extent can we use language to manipulate others? Areas of knowledge, like natural sciences and the arts, can be explored when talking about this knowledge issue. As a personal example, I have experience in the natural sciences, to be more specific in biology, how myself have not been 100% honest when developing lab reports. When I start doing an experiment, my classmates and my teacher, and in fact also myself, have a specific idea of what the outcome of the experiment will be. This creates a type of pressure when collecting the data, and sometimes when I cannot read what I would expect to come out as a useful data, I start altering the experiment in a way that I receive the information that others and myself are expecting. A similar thing happens in the arts. Our art class is extremely talented. The high majority of the students have a major artistic potential, and the art pieces are reaching really high standards. Lately, it has been common that our teacher discovers some plagiarism art pieces that students claim to be original and their own. This happens because the pressure of being good is so high that some students don't feel confident enough with what they are doing, and so they tend to lie about the originality of their work. Once again, we're able to see how social pressure in a classroom can actually affect our honesty. Finally, going back to the survey, we have to take into account that the students in this case were more honest than the average teenager students. The effect of social pressure on the honesty of humans was not entirely noticed through the survey. But one has to take into account that the teacher who allowed us to share our survey told us how some students denied taking the survey because they did not feel comfortable taking it regarding the questions. This probably shows us how students prefer not answering questions that could have been seen as something unaccepted in society if they answered with the truth. Finally, going back to the knowledge issue I presented, it is extremely common that humans change their decisions in order to feel more accepted by the crowd.